welcome back to My Cupcake Addiction. Today I'm showing you something super cool. We're going to be making Skittles sanding sugar. So we're talking sprinkles that taste like Skittles but look like sprinkles. Let's get started. To make your Skittles sanding sugar, you're going to need a really high-powered food processor or a blender. I'm using a food processor, but you could also use something like a Thermomix or a Vitamix if you have one. I've got all of my Skittles that Ollie and I painstakingly separated. I've got this little sharp kind of a scraper. You can use a sharp knife here, but something with a nice blade, a spatula, and assorted food colours in the same colours as my Skittles. Off to the side, I've got a baking tray lined with some baking paper, and I've also got a sieve or a sifter. I've already made batches in yellow, orange, and green, so we're going to be working through some of the other colours of the rainbow today. To begin with, you want to take your Skittles and just pop them into your food processor or your blender, and then we're going to start that out. Bear in mind, this is going to be super noisy. It's like blending rocks. The time it takes to pulverize these is going to vary, anywhere from about 20 seconds all the way up to about 5 minutes. It just depends on the strength of your machine and the quality of your blades. You can leave the colours as is, but for me they're a bit pale, so I'm taking some of my pink gel food colouring. Try not to put too much liquid in here because you're going to need to dry it out after you colour it. Even if you don't add any food colouring, you still need to dry this out. Because the Skittles have got that sticky centre, you kind of need to bake them off for a little while so that they turn into really nice dry sanding sugar. You can start your food processor up again, and it should only take you about 10 or 20 seconds just to mix that colour through. Once it's mixed, you want to take your pre-prepared baking tray and just using a spatula, scrape out all of your Skittles mix. You can see here how sticky it is, so this is why we really need to dry it out. Now, before you start drying it out, you don't want to leave it in this little mound. You kind of want to spread it out. So that's where my scraper comes in. I really am just using the sharp blade of this to kind of separate the Skittles and really even them out on the tray. Once they're nice and even, pop them off into a really, really low oven. So mine is at its lowest possible fan-forced setting, which is 50 degrees Celsius. That's going to take a couple of hours at that really low temperature. And when it comes out of the oven, you can see we've switched to blue because that's been drying out for the last couple of hours. You should have a really nice, dry, crumbly mix. It will have clumped together a little bit while it's in the oven as it kind of melts and as that sticky stuff from inside the Skittles starts to kind of cook off a bit. Pass your sanding sugar through the sifter, and that's kind of going to grate down those little bits, but only your dry sanding sugar is going to go through, and you'll be left with some little sticky clumps at the end. Don't be tempted to put those in because we need to have removed all of the moisture from our sanding sugar. You can store your completed sugar airtight in a Ziploc bag for several weeks, even up to a few months. Make sure that you do dry them out really, really well, because if you leave any moisture in those Skittles, your mix is going to clump together and it's going to decrease that shelf life. You can use this to decorate your cakes, cupcakes, and cookies. You can sprinkle it over desserts and ice cream. It's just like sanding sugar, but this one tastes amazingly like Skittles. You are welcome.